Well guys, that's category C race. We're not yet built for it. First one, we're gonna be here for a while. All right, this is my first category C race. Rocking with one teammate. We will see how this goes. We have about 25 seconds till we start. I've ridden this course one time and I did a little bit of scouting. Basically up one side, down the other. Let's see if we can pull off a first and second place. Here we go.
Pulling up the topography map and the routes. Starts with the Jarvis Lab, which is the lead-in, into the Jarvis KOM, which is the uphill portion of the route. That's where you're going to feel your legs, and then you get to relax on the downhill and do it, I think, 3-4 times, and end with a finish right before the Jarvis KOM starts back up.
Hot start like always in Zwift. Try to keep up with these front people. I'm gonna try my best to be in the front group if we split. First little climb to play with in the lead-in. After we get out the lead-in, we don't go through this part of the course again. It's just straight uphill to downhill. And then a tiny small flat section, and then back up the big hill again. I don't want to be in the front of the pack, just wasting my watts. I'm going to try to draft for most of the race. When I was doing the scouting report, it seemed like I had the best sprint at the end. So if I can conserve enough energy to sprint at the end, that's what we're going to try to do. Yep. We're working at a pretty manageable pace right now. Going into this, I thought we'd be flying past and I'd be dropped off the back. Came straight from the gym, had a little bath and body today. Took a lot of pre-workout, so hoping that's coursing through my system, propel me to the end. I'm gonna get reabsorbed back into the pack. I'm gonna save my energy here. Don't wanna lead too far. I want at least 3 or 4 people in front of me to keep a good draft going. I guarantee I'm the heaviest person in the race. I'm sitting at 96.4 kilos. The downhills are my friend. Even if I struggle to get up the hill, I typically catch up on the downhill portions. The question is on this big hill working up after the lead-in, if my power can do more work than the low weight of everybody else. We're gonna use the power up as we get through the entrance here. Hoping for another feather and we're risking it. Looks like we got it, which is good. And then get out of the saddle for this first portion. Then ride that little flat area and jump back out of the saddle. Once we hit 3%, and we're up. We can sit back down. Again, not trying to go off the front.
After looking back at the race, I realized that I am doing a horrible job of pacing myself. You can see me pull up to the front of the pack here when I'm going uphill. I need to really slow down because it's screwing me over in the last couple laps. I'm tiring myself out way more than I need to. If I just reserve some of my energy, stay in the back of the pack while going up, I could use the drafting from everyone else, although it is a small amount of draft because we're going uphill. But any drafting would help me out, maybe save some energy. So you'll see in this last lap, I'm absolutely dying.
I'm gonna gamble and let those guys go up there, hoping I make my way down on the hill.
We're working into the back portion of the course, which is mostly downhill. There's a little tiny uphill, but it's not too difficult. Nothing really happens in the backhand of the course, as nobody really has to work too hard, and me being heavier, I sort of glide down. There's a little breakaway group, but I'm pretty sure they get reabsorbed back in.
Those high cadence, those deer here.
Working up the hill for the second time. I definitely regret doing this high cadence. I don't know what I was thinking. I typically stay between 75 and 80 for most of the race, so I thought I would work my legs through a high cadence just to try to use a different set of muscles. But we managed to push through without falling too far off the pack, still staying with everybody, and then with a small downhill, after we pass a Banjo Cafe, we get into the main group. One guy is off the front, but again, I think he comes back.
Definitely feeling all of it.
Yeah, the hills are no joke in this one. Like I said, it is a good transition from the Flat is Fast series. This isn't the hilliest race, but it's enough to get all the feeling in my quads. We'll talk a little bit in the future, further into the race, about my hamstrings not really getting engaged, so I have to make a mental note of that. Try to do a super tuck going through here. It was a waste of energy, and then I had to catch back up because the hill's minute going down. I didn't gain that much out of it.
I'm feeling every push of the pedal, and mainly in my quads. And I haven't had a professional bike fit or anything, but I think perhaps I'm too far forward on my seat. With my hamstrings and glutes aren't being engaged nearly as much as my quads.
Second to last time up the hill, have my aero power up to use, and I am lucky enough to get another feather, which saves me a little bit of pain of getting up the hill. We try sitting at the beginning of this and regret that, so I go up into a standing position. At this point, it is almost over. Over for me anyway, not the race. We still have a whole another lap to go after this one. I managed to stick with everybody. Getting all the way up the hill. There's still a guy sitting out in front. We get through the gate and I immediately pop my aero power up. I had a feather on the last two laps, but the aero one I thought I had to maintain the group. End up going sort of towards the front, and I'm not going to make the mistake of trying to sprint for a super tuck and waste my energy again. So we follow downhill, nothing really happens. The next hill we come up on is where the split takes over.
Alright, last go up the hill. On that last lap, I ended up saving a lot of energy on that downhill. I feel like I could do a sprint right now. saving it for this last lap. See, my heart rate actually dropped to 170, which is great. And owed to the fitness.
Alan offers to rubberman me to the front at the end of the lap, but I tell him there is no point, I'm not going to make it.
First portion is sitting, really try to engage the hamstrings that I haven't been doing.
I'm going to play this whole lap at real speed just so you can see the full extent of the pain that I'm going through, because it is no fun at this point. Working through the last bit of 4% incline. I muster up the courage to get out of the saddle, to push forward. But you can see that I start falling off the back here. This is where I begin to definitely get dropped. And then I pop my aero boost to try to get a little bit of speed off the small downhill that there is. Try to work into the little uphill portion here. It doesn't do much. I probably should have just saved it for this longer downhill portion when we hit the bridge. The tank is empty and I can see my hopes and dreams pedaling away from me. Alan's still out there. I think he's sitting in the back trying to give me a leash to pull me up to the front. I don't have anything left, so I told Alan to go and finish the race on his own. Hopefully get a podium position. I think he actually ends up getting third here, so he does pretty well. My roommate comes in to watch the rest of the race. Normally when I start making sounds, it means I'm sprinting for the finish. He thought he was coming to watch the end of it. No, he was wrong. I just didn't have any energy left and was feeling every little bit of it. Last bit of hill to round out the course. Push through this, everything that I have left. Get to enjoy myself on the small downhill and then the larger downhill after this. I'm lucky enough to get another arrow. I pop it a little too early, but I was in panic mode, trying to use anything I could to make it easy on myself. I do end up gaining a little bit of speed here to get me through this portion. Although I had the small amount of speed, still trouble. I do see everyone else on the map up here. I thought I had maybe a chance to get back to the group. So I tried to get a little super tuck in here, try to get a little bit of energy going. Big mistake. I get nowhere close to catching up with any of them. There's one guy that falls off of the back of the lead group. He's 7 seconds out right now, but he just creates a larger gap as we go. It does say down to 6 seconds, but I think at the end of the race he's about 8 seconds ahead of me. End up getting a feather here instead of the arrow, and I think that's what I'm going to blame for not winning. You know, if I had the arrow boost right here, I definitely could have zoomed all the way to the finish and won out. But the feather, definitely the reason I didn't win. Definitely the reason. Not that I'm tired or too slow or not as fit as everybody else. Definitely because I got a feather here and not the arrow boost. Here comes that big sprint I was talking about that I had over everybody else.
Try to sprint. Nope.
Yeah, not really much of a sprint. Again, nothing left.
Well, guys, that's a Category C race. We're not yet built for it. First one, we're gonna be here for a while. Thanks for watching.